Hey you guys, okay, so this is going to be part 2 for the book review with spoilers. And so this book that we're going to start with is, the book that we're going to start with is Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. In my first review video without spoilers, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It follows a girl named Margot and her mother, Jo, and then the other characters are Vera, her grandmother, Tess and Eli, the two friends that she makes when she goes looking for her grandmother. My daughter right there. Anyway, and then there's two police officers, Officer Connor and Officer Anderson, and then Tessa's parents. But they don't really give their names. Anyway, or that I remember. for that part, because the main focus was basically, revolving around Margot. Anyway, Margot is a teenager, and she's soon going to be 18, and she wants to know her family, because she grew up and it was just her and her mother, and her mother's relationship isn't all that great. It's kind of strenuous, and not very great at all. Her mother is distant and whatnot, and just overall, I think she's got some mental health problems due to her past. And yeah, okay. And so she started trying to look for clues and stuff, and she knew that her mother would sell stuff for money to the pawn shop, and the only pawn shop in town, and she went there hoping to find clues, and she was going through the couple boxes and stuff, and she found this Bible, started flipping through it, and thought it was odd, and it also had never forget, and then Mom, or Vera. Anyway, and then she was flipping through and she found a photo, and she kind of put two and two together and figured the adult lady was her grandmother and one of the girls was her mother, but then who was the other one she didn't know. So basically, she was going to use this against her mother to get her to confess and stuff, and all her mother did was tell her to sell it back to the pawn shop. And so that early morning the next day, like early, I want to say before, like while her mother was still asleep, basically, she snuck away, hitched a ride to Pauline, I guess how you say it, or Pauline, slash like Fairhaven, and which is like basically the story is around like northwest Nebraska. Anyway, she goes to the town, and she starts trying to look for clues there, and then she runs into this girl named Tess. And Tess knows all about her grandmother and halfly about her family, basically. And because her family used to own the whole town until things went wrong. And then they bought most of the town, basically. And so basically she would tell, Margot that, she's the landlord, daughter or whatever, or she told the people. Anyway, and then Tess's friend Eli, who also becomes friends with Margot, comes over and says that there's a fire at her grandmother's farm in the fields and stuff. And so they go and and Margot finds a dead body in all these flames. So she runs out there, and Eli runs after her, trying to stop her, but she reaches the body and tries to drag it, to safety. And so basically Eli gets the body and carries it and gets out. And then this is where the police officers come into play, Officer Connor and Officer Anderson. And they don't believe her, Margot, and what she says because of the history of her family. Because everything was weird. Everybody thought they were weird and whatnot. And so, let's see. Anyway, they become friends, and, you know, they take them down to the police station to question them and everything, and they still don't believe, you know, but yet they kind of understand because, she, you know, she is new. She never knew her family or anything like that, and so, the grandmother comes, and she gets to meet her grandmother, and the grandmother tells the officers off, you know, you can't hold this against her. It has nothing to do with her. I'm just a yawner today, or every day. And takes her home. And things seemed normal till the next day. And the grandmother acted weird towards her and treated her weirdly. But she didn't think anything of it because, you know, it was her grandmother. She really wanted to get to know her and stuff. But then, you know, it's still, like, she was still thinking about that body because that girl looked exactly like her and exactly like her mom. And so basically, I don't know how to put this, but basically, like, the grandmother would give birth, got pregnant and would get pregnant without anybody, you know, like, it would just magically, you know, and that's what happened to her mom too. And it's like I want to say it's like a whole conspiracy theory and whatnot. But yeah, the grandmother killed her friend Tessa and her whole, you know, and her parents and stuff, because Tessa ended up getting pregnant, but she's a virgin. And so the grandmother, you know, thought, oh no, is going to start over with new people and whatnot. And so, but at the end of the story, it basically leaves off that, like, she goes her separate way. The grandmother dies because she sets the house on fire. Not the grandmother, my God. And, yeah. And they don't question her or anything like that. But this is a very good book. I highly recommend that one. Alright, so we're going to move on to this one. And which is The Unbreakable Thread by Nisha Nirmal Kumar. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I read this within like a couple days. The whole storyline basically talk about like two people having like an invisible red thread to them because they love each other and they're destined for each other. And there is I'm gonna have to flip through here and find the names. Okay, so basically the storyline revolves around like Lark, Nick, and then a couple other people. And basically they're in college. This is like in like the UK. I want to say, and then there's Jose, Surya, Herdy. I'm hoping I'm saying those right. And they all are friends, and then slowly a Lark and this girl, like I said, I cannot remember her name, and some of the names in there are really hard to pronounce. But anyways, start slowly like falling in love with each other, and like they go crazy when they don't hear from each other. But this one girl at their college thought, you know, because he was teasing her, you know, saying, oh, like, that girl's cute and blah, blah, blah. And so she gets the crap kicked out of her. But Alaric really wants her, not the other girl that, you know, he was joking around about. And so they get together, you know, they become a couple and stuff. And then it gets close to the end of their years of college. Alaric has a job with detectives. Yeah, okay. and then Nick has like this job with like a company, and which is not far from where, you know, the university is, because they both have girlfriends that are still in college. Anyway, nobody hears from Alaric for a long time because he's undercover. He can't use his real identity. They're going after like a drug lord or whatever. And she's going crazy, you know, because she's thinking maybe he's just trying to run without saying goodbye or breaking things off. Sorry, you can hear my dog in the background. They bark at leaves dropping. People could just walk by, not even come up to the door at all, and don't bark. And then, you know, he comes back, and everything's so happy. And then they end up, Alaric and that girl ended up getting married and living happily ever after. And I hope there is a second sequel to this, because, I mean, I love the ending, but I hate how it's left off, because it leaves you wondering about, like, the rest of the lives, the rest of their lives and their friends and stuff. And so, you know, I'm hoping she writes more, because all right, last one, and I'm hoping this can be under 20 minutes, because that would be nice. This is Wings of Fire, the Dragonette's Prophecy. So basically, this revolves around the Dragonettes, these baby dragons, and how they're supposed to end this war. You know, because all these dragons are fighting over who's going to be the next and new Sand Queen. And so it follows a dragon named Clay, Typhoon, Glory, Starflight, Sunny, you know, and this is Clay, by the way. He's a mud wing dragon. But yeah, they're supposed to like be trained to like combat and stuff, and then try to figure out who's going to be the next Sand Queen and end the war. And they're like hidden basically, and they're going crazy because, you know, they don't get to see the outside world or anything like that. And they escape, and the Sky Queen captures them, and she wants to kill them because she doesn't believe in the prophecy at all. So she, instead of killing them herself, she puts them in her prison where they're going to battle to their death. But they end up, Clay ends up befriending the dragon, Pearl. Peril?
Yeah, Peril.
I thought it was Pearl.
No.
Peril. Okay, anyway, Peril. And she's like the Sky Queen's like best like fighter, and she doesn't want to fight. She really doesn't want to fight Clay, but she doesn't want to upset the Sky Queen. But anyway, she ends up like helping them escape and stuff. And so they first on their journey, because this is what they wanted to do when they escape, go find their families. So they go and try to look for Clay's family. And apparently Clay's family did not want him, because I think it's hard to explain.
I kind of forgot, but I think it's because his parents like sold him off.
Yeah, I mean, well, they sold him off, but they really didn't want him. That's why it was easy for them to sell him off.
Yeah.
And which kind of hurt him a little bit. And so next they decide that they were going to go for Typhoon's family, and she finds out that she's basically practically royalty. to the Sea Wing Kingdom, if I'm correct on that.
You've read
Here,
the
I'll
second
show you.
book?
Hold on. I also want to show the map. Oh, I gotta find the map because.
The map is right
Okay. So they're going here, Kingdom of the Sea, and then they went to the Mud Kingdom, which is like right there.
The
And
map is in the shape of a dragon.
I know, look at that. And then Mudwing, Sandwing, Skywing, which is like right there, Sea Wing. And then there's the Rain Wing, Ice Wing, and then Night Wings. And so basically, the Night Wing had, got picked up because they didn't want him to die at all. The Night Wings didn't want him, they had basically a special task for him, which kind of upsets me on. But basically, the next book is going to be basically The Lost Heir, and it's going to, I think, start with Typhoon's, their journey to Typhoon's, home and fighting about her legacy and stuff like that, I presume. But, yeah. And so basically, that's the last three books that I read for the month of November. Man, I cannot believe I read like 6 books. Just crazy. But please comment down below what books did you read in the month of November? What books do you want to read in the month of December? Or just comment, whatever. Subscribe if you already haven't. Hit that notification bell to basically get updates or notifications of when I post my videos. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it.
Hi.
And I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.